This idea of unsubscribing from Judgement came to me sometime last year, maybe the beginning of 2021. What I was noticing, again, as I continued to reorient myself to where is the judgment in my life? Where am I judging others, and how is that affecting me? And I noticed that I was receiving certain newsletters, or I was in certain Facebook groups where I had just kind of a knee-jerk, often visceral, bodily reaction of judgment, of like, ugh, I can't believe they're discussing that again. Oh my gosh, like, that's so elementary. Or, you're going to ask that question again? Or, wow, I can't believe I just got this newsletter from this person that I sort of know a little bit about, and what they're proclaiming and saying isn't who I totally think that they are. Or, yeah, just getting stuff and just judging it. Some type of critique, some type of evaluation, none of it positive, none of it life-giving. And ultimately, it made me feel just kind of dirty and heavy and gross inside. I noticed that as a pattern, and I thought, wait a minute, why would I want to continue to receive stuff that doesn't make me feel good inside and isn't life-giving? And I don't know how this works and if this is true, but is it possible that like I'm emanating some type of negative energy towards them as a result of getting this thing? And what good is that doing? And so some of also receiving this stuff, was to also, quote, follow other people and see what they're doing. And, maybe I can glean some new ideas about what I could be doing based on what they're doing. And I realized that the cost was outweighing the benefit. So the long and short on all this stuff is I unsubscribed. Twitter, which I haven't been on Twitter in forever. I just find that to not be a life-giving place whatsoever, or very rarely. It's not what it once was. So anyway, I'm not on Twitter really. Actually, with Twitter at the time, I think I unfollowed a bunch of people that, again, was not creating life for me. I did that with newsletters. I unsubscribed. I did that with Facebook groups. I don't know if I necessarily left the groups, but I turned off notifications so I wouldn't be reminded to come there. And so I did this across the year. When I was on my 3-week retreat, I had this notion of just unsubscribing from absolutely everything. I did unsubscribe from more stuff when I got back, but I didn't completely shut it all off. And I think that's been fine. But I guess this all ties to something I saw on LinkedIn the other day, which was this idea of removing all the people posting negative stuff so that you could create a new you in 2022. I thought that's interesting. I think that's a good idea. Yeah, it's definitely a good idea to remove the negativity from our lives. And yet I thought, you know what? I'm not sure that's true. I'm not sure that's going to work if just by taking away the negativity, other people's negativity, I'm going to become a new person or suddenly be positive. Because I reflected on this, I thought, well, my own judgments of things is what creates the negativity, not other people. And nobody can make me feel a certain way. It's a choice, even if it's subconscious or a knee-jerk reaction. Which, as I've owned more and more and more of that, I see more and more of what's possible. The other thing I realized in this was, even if, so for these people that are groups or whatever that I unsubscribed from or that I wasn't participating in, even if my critique could have been useful, or maybe it was, quote, true, it's still not valuable if there's judgment in my heart towards that person or that group or whatever. I don't know about you, but I have never I've never been profoundly impacted by another person in a positive way when they were judging me. And that is something that my coach Gary just hammered into me, which is you can't profoundly help another person if you're judging them. And I think that is so, so true. So again, even if my critiques of these people were accurate or potentially useful, if I'm not in a current state where I can come to those people from like if we borrow from an anatomy of peace, from a heart at peace versus a heart at war, or I guess I would say a heart, like if I can't come to this person from a place of love, I was going to say enough love. In other words, where the judgment outweighs the love, then it's not going to be as effective. It's not going to be very useful. So I guess to close the loop on that, it's just the idea of, again, continuing to receive information that I've signed up for from these people that I'm then going to turn around and judge them provides no benefit to anyone. So get rid of it. Now here's the interesting thing. Recently I saw something from one of these situations and I resubscribed, and I was like, I'm kind of interested in this free whatever they were offering, and I'll check that out. And then I did, and I was like, oh yeah, this isn't very good. And I realized, oh my goodness, you have not evolved very much in this area with this particular person. So you know what? Just unsubscribe. It's not a big deal. And that's what I did. So there's more of my work to do, and I'm not judging that either. Except when I do, and then I just forgive it. So that's okay. My hope is there will be a time and a place where, again, the love outweighs the judgment, and maybe I resubscribe to this particular person. Maybe I never do. And maybe if I have the opportunity to meet them, if I can come from a place of love, maybe we have a real conversation. And maybe we don't. So my encouragement to you, or challenge, would be, who in your life are you judging? Who in your life are you receiving stuff from that makes you feel dirty? Not because they're dirty, not because they're lame, or whatever conclusions you have about them, but because of what's going on in your own heart. The comparison, the better than or less than, all that kind of stuff. And do an experiment. Maybe if you don't trust me, like just unfollow or unsubscribe from a bunch of this stuff for a period of time. Make a list of them if you want to resubscribe, and then just see if you don't notice something different inside of yourself. The funny thing about keeping a list of all these things is what I found is the stuff that's kind of meant to find me always finds me. And so, yeah, that was another realization from my 3-week solitude retreat was, yeah, when I need something, it will come to me. So this idea that I have to stay subscribed into receiving all this stuff or I'm going to miss out, it's just not true. So play with all this stuff. Find out what's true for you. Oh, and one more idea. If you're totally judging me and what's getting created here and what I put out into the world, unsubscribe. Don't consume it. Just move on. We'll both be fine. And then when we're meant to come back into each other's lives, we will.